What attracted you towards the career of a chef?
Cooking wise, developing that interest started when I enrolled into hotel management,
What is a career path to follow? So, if you can elaborate this, starting from what subjects to take in 11th and 12th,
which can diploma can be 1 or 2 years, degrees can be 3 and 4 years.
college, what kind of entrance exams one needs to prepare for? Did you prepare for any entrance exams?
IHM had a big. It was a big deal to crack that entrance exam.
What is food photography and how
Sure,
does one get into food photography?
it's taking pictures of food for your advertising purpose.
What will be your advice to students who are keen to take up either chef or food photography as a career?
Creative, yes, you have to be creative. You have to be patient. You have to be, uh, continuously work to get the clients.
Welcome viewers to No Hurt Mentality, a YouTube channel that deep dives into careers to give you great insights through conversations with people who have been there and done that. It is said that in order to live a fulfilling life, you need to first fill your stomach. And what better profession than chef to accomplish that? Our guest today is Mr. Aniket Natu, who is an accomplished chef and now a food photographer. He graduated in 2010 from Bharati Vidyapeeth Hotel Management and then went on to do his master's from University of West London, UK in 2012 in Culinary Arts Business Management. He has worked in restaurants as a chef till 2020. He's also a professor of culinary arts at Tilak Maharashtra Vidyapeeth. His career took an interesting turn when he decided to take up food photography as a full time profession in 2013. He has worked as a food photographer for Conrad by Hilton Pune and for Kaya restaurants in Bahrain. Please welcome Mr. Aniket Natu. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Thank you so much.
Um, you know, Cooking in our parents' era was largely limited to women folk.
Correct.
But in the present time, cooking has become a mainstream career possibility, transcending genders and finding massive takers among men folk too.
Yeah.
So, what attracted you towards the career of a chef?
Okay. So let me be honest. It was not something that I planned earlier. It was basically a easy degree for me. That's why I chose hotel management in the first place and developed my interest in cooking. Actually, I love cooking since like for a very long time. But actually, cooking wise, developing that interest started when I enrolled into hotel management.
Okay. So, how, I mean, what, did anyone ask you to get into hotel management or was it something that you figured out on your own?
No, actually, it was. I clearly remember it was in my ninth class actually when I was walking to one of my maths tuitions. One of my friends just told me about it. Till that point in time, I didn't even know there was hotel management course or anything of that sort because I really never gave a thought about my career. So since then, I was thinking about it because you don't need to go into science field or 11, 12, or you can just have arts or commerce from your higher education, sorry, 11th and 12th in that, and then you can go to the hotel management institute. So I was happy doing that rather than going into science field, and that's how I just got into it.
So, due to huge popularity of programs like MasterChef India and MasterChef Australia, cooking has become quite a glamorous, high profile
Correct,
profession with high prospects of earning big bucks. So,
correct.
how does one become a professional chef? what is a career path to follow? So if you can elaborate this, starting from what subjects to take in 11th and 12th, and
Hmm.
what kind of entrance exams to prepare for,
Okay.
and also, what degree courses one should look out for, and what are some of the reputed colleges, one can try to get in.
Okay, so 11th and 12th, not necessarily. You can do your science, commerce, or arts, whatever suits you. But there are courses related to hotel management in the government college. Also, there are colleges which offer courses, 1 year course or something like that after your 10th. So you can do that. After your 12th, let's say, you go enroll in a degree program or a diploma program, which diploma can be 1 or 2 years, degrees can be 3 and 4 years. So very few colleges do offer a specialization in their degree program, which is usually a 4 year program, in which 3 years is normal hotel management courses or subjects that happen, and in the fourth year you can do your specialization. Post which you can go into post graduation, maybe outside India if you are financially supported, or you can do your post graduations here as well. There's no actual need to go outside spending a lot of money, you know, for some else, some in a different country altogether, because you have to have a living expense and everything that's quite expensive. So I think you can do your programs here if you're financially supported. You can do that as, and there you can actually do your specified programs which is in culinary art. So that's the way you can do your education.
So in graduation, if it's
Hmm.
a degree program, you said it's a 4-year degree program.
Correct.
No
Mhm.
specialization happens in the graduation program.
In 3 years, no,
What
but in
happens in
four
the last
years,
year?
last year you have, let's say, if I'm doing my culinary arts specialization, I do focus on more on the culinary part than the rest of the hotel management subjects.
So that
That's
happens
basically
in the last year of graduation.
correct. Yeah, that happens mostly in the 4 year program. Now, there are it depends on the college or the universities what kind of programs they are offering. So you have to be very you have to do your research on what university or you're enrolling into. The best colleges I would suggest is IHM, which is the Institute of Hotel Management, which is all India. No, it's an India level thing. And you have state colleges, and you have private colleges as well, like Bharati Vidyapeeth, which is in Pune. So they offer a good hotel management program. So you can do it from there.
And what are the other kind of specializations these courses offer apart from culinary arts?
You can do so. Basically, hotel management has four main departments traditionally. So one is the kitchen, second is the food and beverage service, third is your housekeeping, and fourth is your front office. So you can do any of these four. Plus, you now very important are marketing and sales. But I don't believe they give that kind of programs. I'm not aware of that. If they are giving it, I don't know. So, but these are the colleges you can definitely go for.
And when you opt for the post graduation, which is
Hmm.
again a 2-year program, right?
Yeah, 2 or 1 year depends. If it's a diploma, it's 1 year. It's, postgrad, it's 2 years. Then you can do your masters and PhD if you are willing to.
So masters will totally focus on your area of specialization that
Correct.
you've
Yeah,
chosen.
yeah, yeah. That's
Okay.
it.
And you did your masters from UK, West
Yeah,
London, University of West London.
University of West London. Yeah. So it was basically a culinary arts program. Uh, Although it was not a practical oriented program, it was much of a research oriented program. But yeah, I mean, if you are interested in that kind of academics, you can definitely go in.
Okay. And how tough it is to get through a hotel management, a reputed hotel management college? What kind of entrance exams one needs to prepare for? Did you prepare for any entrance exams?
Yes, when I was doing it, it was there. I am not aware if the private colleges do have the entrance exam, but I believe the national level and the state level colleges do have. But I am not confident about it, so I cannot answer it to be honest. But back in time, yes, there was. IHM had a big. It was a big deal to crack that entrance exam. In fact, state college also the entrance exam was pretty hard. Uh, I gave both, but then I opted for Bharati Vidyapit since it was in Pune. I was not ready to move out. So
And how difficult was the process or the preparation of pursuing masters from UK? Uh, was the
see, it
admission
is
process difficult? Application process daunting?
nothing of that sort that happened to me when I was applying for the UK program. It was pretty easy as far as your see, end of it, all you got to do is have good finances with you. So my parents backed me up with that, and I could go there. But it was pretty easy for me. Maybe difficult for somebody else if they are looking out for or taking the finances from, let's say, the bank or any of the other sources. So yeah, I mean, going there is not difficult. Repaying it may be difficult.
Yeah, yeah. So, can you throw some light on the practical realities and the hard work that one needs to go through to become a successful chef? In
Oh,
terms of the kind of aptitude required or the skills that you need to master.
okay. So let's talk about the uh, hard side of this,
Hmm.
which is the 80% of it, because yeah, uh, being in the chef is a very big deal. Let's say for me, I do respect all the kitchen members because they do some finest work. So I love them. Now, going in the kitchen may be easy, cracking the interview may be easy, but working there is not at all easy. So whoever is trying to, think about it or, think twice, thrice, or even 10 times because it is not for faint heart. The working hours are like crazy. It is not a corporate life that 10 hours and you can go home. I'm not suggesting that it happens, but it is quite okay. You get the weekends off. Weekends, the first thing you get into the college and they tell you forget about the weekends. There is no weekend for you. Saturdays and Sundays are not for you. Monday can be your weekend or
Yeah.
any day of the week, but forget about weekends. So the minimum working hours are 10, 12, or even more. Getting a good 8 hours sleep is a dream. Uh, finishing your duty in 10 hours feels like a half day. These are the very hard, rather the realities of this industry. And it's not just for the kitchen part; it's mostly for everyone.
So even with food, beverage, housekeeping, front
Everything.
desk.
See, right from the general manager of a big hotel to the utility person, everybody works 10, 12 hours a day. So there is no good way to put about it, but that's the you know reality of hotel industry or restaurant for that matter. It's not just related to hotel, restaurants also. And anybody willing to go into it has to prepare mentally, physically, that you have to work for 12 hours at least. Forget about the weekends. You might not even get a week off at times. And, hotel policies can be, 4 weeks or 6 weeks off in a month. You might not even complete that. So you have to be mentally very strong. You have to not sacrifice but compromise on the family life. No, you cannot. Maybe you won't be able to attend your birthdays, your family members' birthdays, or any functions. And yeah, you have to face it. It is the reality, and people who are working in it are doing it. So I'm not saying it's very hard or it's not possible. If it's not possible, then the hotel industry won't be booming.
Yeah,
So
hotel industry
uh,
and the restaurant business
yeah,
seem to be booming because so many new restaurants are
correct.
just mushrooming in every corner of India.
I know. And the good thing is that the chefs are being really creative now.
Hmm.
No, not just a traditional restaurant which serves maybe other like whatever traditional food, but something different, fusions and all this sorts of things that are happening. That's really good.
Yeah. So you mentioned that the working hours are so grueling
Yeah.
and you have a jam-packed schedule. So does and still, there are a lot of people who are keen on taking up hotel management
Yes.
or
Yeah.
chef as a career. The students who are aspiring to be chefs would like to know whether chef or any other aspect of hotel management, is it a
Mhm.
money making profession? Are chefs paid well in India? Are they in demand in India? What is the average salary like? Because if the working hours are so grueling, then the salaries should compensate for the drudgery that you
Right.
have to go through. Yeah.
Got it. So, if you're a fresher, if your ranks are lower, definitely the working hours and the money that you're getting don't match, and that is the sad reality. But after a certain point, after certain experience, once you rise up the ranks, things get good enough. I'm not saying best, but good enough. You're paid well. Your working hours don't change unless you become the executive chef. But then he's also he has to be there any which ways. So yes, in lower ranks the things are difficult, but once you rise, things get better money wise. So yes, that is that you have to go through it. I mean, nowadays still the salaries are getting better. I'm not saying they are the best or good, but yeah, better if not best.
So are chefs well paid in India as much as they are paid well in countries outside India?
No, no. The top chefs, sure, they do get paid well, but then you have to give your at least, let's say, 10-15 years in this process to become that, and then you're in a good position to get that kind of money. But
So
10-15 years you have to work really really hard, and there is no looking back then.
yeah, so now coming over to your switch,
Yeah,
while you were a chef, you gradually discovered a newfound interest in an alternative career, which is in
yeah,
some way also deeply connected to your love for food, and that is
yeah,
food photography. So, for our viewers, can you please describe what is food photography and how
sure.
does one get into food photography?
Okay, so food photography is a very niche part of the photography subject in general. So, uh, the food photography for me, it's very interesting since I come from the food background. Now, getting into food photography, let me tell you what is food photography first. It's simple. It's taking pictures of food for your advertising purpose. May it be social media, may it be a website, etc. Or you can have it in the recipe books as a you have to understand what the dish looks like end of it. So you want to put the picture over there. So that's where the food photography comes in handy. The history of food photography goes back. with the history of photography itself. So obviously, when people started exploring, when the cameras were, still in the making area, so people started taking pictures of food, which might not be cooked food. It's just maybe fruits laid on a table and etc. So basically, food photography mainly is a tabletop photography where nowadays you find lifestyle and food being going together. People eating something, holding the spoon and whatever the human element is there. But traditionally, it is a tabletop photography, and I think it has to be like that. You know, because it is very upsetting for me to see somebody, holding the spoon like this, the pasta, and it doesn't look good. Doesn't feel that you want to eat that. I feel personally it's my problem. Others might like it. So that's where food photography comes in handy. Secondly, if you want to be a food photographer, you have to learn the photography part of it, which is obvious. Nowadays, the cameras are getting very much easier. So it is not very difficult for me to take a photo of food from my phone, and it can be uploaded on the Insta or whatever, wherever it is. But to become a food photographer, you have to learn the basic photography part. You have to understand the lighting, how the food interacts with the lighting, what sort of light should you use to keep the texture of food that way. If you cannot use a very strong or a very warm light when you're working with desserts which can collapse at any moment with just some heat. So you have to understand what you are. So you have to understand lighting. You have to understand the color schemes. You have to understand the backgrounds. You have to understand the props. You have to and very important, you should know what you're shooting. You have to understand the food. So you have to do a lot of research if you are not from the food background. You have to go in on the internet, or you have to go through the books, recipes, and whatever you can find wherever you can do your research on. So that's how you can become a food photographer.
So, did you learn photography by uh, joining a certification course or some diploma course?
Yeah, in 2012, I did a photography course. Back then, I didn't even know what food photography is, to be very honest. Or rather, I was not even thinking about photography to be there. But yes, I did have a camera. I had gotten my camera from my friend, and I wanted to learn the photography because auto mode is not something that I was very keen on doing. I wanted to do the photography, what people were doing, whatever we were seeing back then. And yes, I did a course. It was applied nature photography, something. It was basically a nature photography course, but they were teaching the camera, or the basics of the camera. So that's where I learned the camera. And 6 months down the line, I found food photography, you know, you know, something of that sort that I can do. So yeah, you have to. I did my course in the photography part.
So, why did you make this shift? Because you are a full-time food photographer now. You have
Yeah,
completely transitioned from chef to food photography. So, why did
correct.
you make this shift? And was this shift a difficult one for you?
Yes, it is because when I was working in the kitchen, I was getting my salary every day, every month. Being a food photographer, unless you are working like a proper job, it is very difficult for financially to survive uh, uh, doing the food photography unless you have the clients on the recurring pattern, or uh, it is difficult. I'm not saying it's a very cakewalk thing. You have to sacrifice a lot, and yes, it is not a very easy change for me.
So, as a food photographer, apart, I mean, you are freelancing, but can
Correct.
someone also get into a full-time job as a food photographer?
Sure. If the see, there are many companies who are into food. like the food manufacturing, the cookware industry, who continuously need a photographer, might need a photographer, and they might have the positions available also as a photographer. Many of the hotels have now started to have a photographer in-house. So not necessarily he'll be doing just food, but they can also do other photography uh, parts when it comes to hotels. But yes, hotels need food photography, so they are engaging into people who want to work full time.
So, what really motivated you to give up on your uh, a
Got it.
fixed salary every month and move towards this uncertain career zone wherein you are fetching for work every month and
Every day, yeah.
every day, and paychecks
Yeah.
are variable. Some days, some months you are earning well, some months you are
Some months, yeah.
just not earning.
Zero.
How do you cope up with this uncertainty vis-a-vis a very secure job as a chef?
See, to be honest, I was very bored of going to the kitchen every day. You know, Even though the job is challenging, but once the menus and these things set up, you're doing the same task every day. There is nothing new. So eventually, it started to get a little boring, or a lot boring. Uh, and lockdown happened. So any which ways, I was not earning for good 6 months. So uh, that's how I was like, okay, I if we can manage it, why not go into it? As it is, I'm not getting. And to be very fair, yes, it was a fixed salary that I was getting. Income was coming in every month, but then nothing good was happening around. Nothing challenging. Nothing. No creativity. So I was, as it is, very bored, and I decided to jump. So and lockdown, because of the lockdown, 6 months, no salary at all, no money. I was used to it, let's say. So
Lockdown prepared you.
yeah. So yeah. And uh, if it was just me who was working, then it was a difficult task. I would have gone back to the kitchen or any other paying job, not well paying, but paying job. But I have to thank my family and my wife who have been supportive for my decision. You have to have some backup if you are going into the photography industry, because any which ways, any photography you take for that instance, it is not going to give you what you are expecting since the beginning. It will take some time, and you have to be prepared to invest that kind of time, money, energy into it, and you can get the returns, slowly.
That's true. So, do you think that food photography as a career is here to stay in India for a long haul? Or
It can,
because, so many new age offbeat careers have emerged in the last decade, but
yeah,
no one knows, whether they'll be able to survive the test of time. Many of them have fizzled out.
correct.
What is your view on food photography?
See, food photography has been there for a very long time. It can, and when it comes to food, it is not going to go anywhere unless we run out of food in the whole on the whole planet. So eventually, I want to. So the restaurants, hotels want to do their ads, want to do their marketing. So they want the food photography done any which ways. Maybe the food photography can transition into videos, which is happening. The today's era is into the video making, reels and everything. So reels, I'm not sure how much time reels will stay, but videos and photography will stay for long for sure.
And
I
it
think
will
so.
continue to be a good career prospect to take up.
Sure, it can be. I mean, I'm not saying that it will, but it can be. It depends on how creative, talented, and interested you are. Continue this as a full-time career.
Finally, one last question. What will be your advice to students who are keen to take up either chef or food photography as a career?
Okay. One thing is that be physically prepared and have a financial support. If you are working as a chef, you are going to get your job, your salary. Good or bad, it's a different story. But at least there is going to be some amount coming into your account every month if you're doing it as a chef. If you're a photographer, any photographer, not just food, be prepared to you know uh, take up criticism when you're shooting, because not everyone looks at your photos in the way you are looking. So, negative and positive, both criticisms, you have to have that kind of mental capacity to take it. If you cannot, you will not able to survive, and then it goes for a toss. So, creative, yes, you have to be creative. You have to be patient. You have to be, uh, you know, uh, continuously work to get the clients, to get the good work. And obviously, as a creative person, you want to be creative, but always keep in mind there are people who want things done in a certain way. The owners, maybe the people who are their stakeholders who want to make things go their way. You have to, be a little flexible. But if you want, you can prove your point as well, but in a good way, not fighting or giving gully galoch. No,
Mm.
you have to be diplomatic about it, which I feel I am a little less, because when it comes to food, I know what I'm doing. And when it yeah, because I worked in the kitchen also,
Mm.
so what I know what is going in. So
Mm.
I love the chefs who tell me, dude, this is my product, I know what I'm doing, you do your photography. So that is the, and I was very lucky to meet a few chefs in the whole 10 years, that 10 12 years that I've been doing that. They gave me my creative freedom while I'm doing my work. So not necessarily you will find people like this always. So you have to be patient. You have to do, maybe just do that job just to get the money, sometimes. So this is my advice, that be patient,
Agree.
be calm, be creative as much as possible,
Mm.
be creative wherever you can, however you can, and yeah, I mean, just
Yeah.
just stick to it.
Yeah.
It is not an easy thing, but you will get there sometime.
Thank you so much, Mr. Aniket.
Thank you.
We greatly appreciate your time and expertise. The podcast was very informative, and I'm
Thank you.
sure it will guide the aspiring and budding culinary students in the right direction.
Yeah,
You are
sure, sure.
listening to No Hurt Mentality Conversations. Please stay tuned for more such in-depth conversations on different careers and professions. I mean, please feel free to contact us. We love hearing from you. I'm Ruchika, signing off on behalf of No Herd Mentality.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.